What is going on, guys? Xtimus here. Today I present to you the top 5 fastest killing builds in Diablo 2 with a complete guide of the skills, attributes, along with some of the highest endgame gear available in the game. Alright, what's going on, guys? Xtimus here. So I'm going to be showing you guys each class build in this list, and I'm going to be showing you guys all the endgame gear, all the skills, attributes, and all that good stuff, and go over a little bit more information with you guys as well. So coming in at number 5 is the Windy Druid here. So as far as the skills go, just remember, guys, keep this in mind that this is level 99, so this is with all the skill quests and all that stuff. So you really want to make sure, if you do follow these builds, you want to make sure that you're using your points correctly instead of just dumping them in the wrong places at the wrong time. What I mean by that is you don't want to be dumping points into Twister instead of Tornado first. You want to make sure you put points into Tornado first, because you're going to be using Tornado, not Twister. So as we go along with the build, you want to put, this is very endgame, like I said, guys, you want to put 20 points into Cyclone Armor, 20 Twister, 20 Tornado, 20 Hurricane, and 20 Oak Sage. And then you get a little bit more extra points left over. I actually put that in the Summon Grizzly. I'm actually a little bit too lazy to summon them just because I don't want to, really, but I never really used a Windy Druid that had that many points left over to where he could put points in the Summon Grizzly. So if you want to do that, you can go ahead and do that as well. So this is very basic gear, guys. I'm using the Shaco helm right now, and that's probably one of the biggest things I want to point out to you guys, because with a Druid, you can actually get a Druid helm, and a lot of these Druid helms could have some really nice stats on it, like 2 the Druid skills, 3 the Tornado, things like that. And those are actually really hard to come by in the trading community. I mean, some people keep them. You can actually make a Delirium. You can get like 3 the Tornado on a white Druid helm, then make a Delirium. That'll actually give you about 5 skill levels to Tornado. That's a little bit different. Some people just go with Shaco because they like the magic find and things like that. So this is actually very basic gear, and this isn't anything too crazy. So I'm actually using Hodo, Shaco, Maras. You could actually get a little bit more damage out of it if you went with a 3 to Elemental Skills Amulet, but that's really not necessary. I mean, one skill isn't going to make or break your character, but I mean, Mars is really nice for the 30 resistances and attributes and things like that. Then I'm using Enigma, Spirit Shield, War Traveler Boots, Stone of Jordan, Arachnid Mesh, and Mage Fist Gloves. On Switch, I got Call to Arms and Spirit, and all Elemental Skill Grand Charms, Annie and a Torch. And then on the Mercenary, I'm using Infinity, Treachery, and Vampire Gaze. So one thing I wanted to point out with Infinity, this really doesn't help out a Druid that much. It's really only going to help out the Hurricane damage, and that's only if there's non-cold immune monsters. So one of the biggest things that's a problem with cold immune monsters is it's really hard to break the cold immunities on those monsters. So a lot of people ask all the time in the Diablo 2 community, how do you break cold immunities in Diablo 2? And the answer to that is there's only 2 things that actually apply to removing resistances from a monster in the game. And that's Lower Resist, which is a curse from a Necromancer. It's a Necromancer spell, but you could get it on a wand. And Conviction, which is a Paladin aura, or that's on Infinity. So even with Infinity and a Lower Resist combined together, I really don't think that's, I'm not too sure, you guys might have to look that up. I don't think that that's enough resistances, negative resistances, to actually take the cold immunities off, and I actually tried testing it and it didn't work. And what I did is I actually used a Conviction aura from a Paladin. I used Lower Resist, and that actually took off some of the cold immunities from there. And that's really hard to come by. I mean, a lot of people don't play Conviction Paladins or anything like that anymore, or Oridins. So that's really something that's kind of a disadvantage to a lot of people that do cold damage in Diablo 2, is because so many monsters in Hell mode have very high resistances, so you really can't break their resistances and take that cold immunity off, because you don't have enough negative resistance on that monster to take it off. Lightning damage and fire damage is a little bit different, because lightning damage, a lot of the monsters in Diablo 2 do not have as much lightning resist as they do cold resist, and that's why lightning can get removed from monsters, and cold damage most of the time cannot. So I'm just going to make sure that the players are set to 8, and then we'll get it started. So I'm with the Oak Sage right now. I got about 6,600 health. I'm doing 6.8k damage on the Tornadoes and 3k damage on the Hurricane. So we're just going to go to World Stonekeep instead, and I'll show you guys. As you can see there with those snakes, that little snake packet took them out pretty quick there. Man, there's actually a lot of these ice spawn dudes. It's weird. Really don't like how those guys give you like no items. Oh my gosh, another pack of them. It's the third pack I've seen. So as you can see, I mean, they take out everything very easily. One of the nice things about tornadoes as well is that it does physical damage, and a lot of monsters in Diablo 2 aren't immune to physical damage, so most of the time you can just go around and kill whatever you want, as to where some other builds in Diablo 2, like a cold sorceress for example, really can't go around killing many things in Diablo 2 just because there's so many cold immunities. And with a Windy Druid, I mean, it's really nice to just be able to go around and fight whatever monster you want and actually get away with it, where a cold sorceress, you can't do that. Alright, so moving on to number 4 is the Trap Assassin. Trap Assassin is definitely one of the most overpowered classes in the game and builds in the game that I really don't see a lot of people playing. I mean, you could really get away with making a awesome character for a lot cheaper than a hammered in, say, or a sorceress. Going over the gear with you guys real quick. So this is the biggest thing I want to talk about with this build, is the silence phase blade. Now a lot of people go ahead and use Hodo and things like that, but this is a really big thing with trap assassins, and I had to learn this the hard way when I first started playing assassins, is that your casting speed for your traps is not based on your faster cast rate. It's based on your attack speed. So you really want to make sure that you have a weapon that has very fast attack speed, such as the phase blade, and that's why I made a silence in the phase blade. So silence is really nice, gives 2 to all skills and that massive 75% to all resistances, and it's a really nice base weapon right there, the phase blade, so you're really going to be casting your traps really fast. But at the same time, it's also nice to have faster cast rate, just so you could teleport around really quickly when using Enigma. So obviously I'm using Enigma, Shaco, Mara's Spirit, War Traveler Boots, 2 Stones of Jordan, Arachnid Mesh, and some Train Owl gloves. So the reason why I put a Chamrune in my Shaco is just because I really don't want to be frozen. You could go ahead and just put a Raven Frost if you wanted to on your character, but I really wanted to get that one extra skill just so I could do some more damage. And the Chamrune, I mean, that's totally personal by me. You can go ahead and just put a Perfect Topaz in there if you want to get more Magic Find, or you're using this character, the Magic Find. So, and then on Switch, I got Call to Arms, Spirit, very standard, all trap skill, Grand Charms, and eating a torch. And then this is pretty obvious as well. I'm using Infinity for the Conviction Aura, Treachery, and Endarials. So then as far as the skills go, like I said, guys, this is very end game here. 20 points death traps, 20 lightning traps, 20 charge traps, and 20 shock web. And then you're going to get a little bit more points left over. I put 1 point in the burst of speed. Martial arts, none. Some people like to put points in the Shadow Master and things like that, or Cloak of Shadows, maybe just to help out with the mercenaries damage a little bit with the negative defense going on there. But with the rest of my points, so you just put 20 points in all the traps right here on the left, and then with the rest of my points, I put them in the Fire Blast, because then you're gonna put up all your traps, throw up a shock web, and then you can start throwing those Fire Blasts at monsters as well. And that's kind of overkill right there. I mean, you're really going to be doing a lot of damage already, but if you're really trying to pump out some crazy damage, I mean, maybe if you're doing like 8-player cow runs, Throne of Destruction on the last wave or something like that, I mean, all these traps right here, lightning traps, corpse explosion trap, a shock web, and a Fire Blast, I mean, you're just... It's insane the amount of damage that you're pumping out if you play the character correctly. Alright, so we got the player set to 8, and we're going to go ahead and use the Frigid Highlands just so we can keep it all even here and kill the same monsters, just so we can see how much damage each class can do. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have 5 traps up. So you want to have 4 lightning traps and 1 corpse explosion trap. You want to make sure you don't mix it up or anything, or overlap your traps, or it's going to delete the one that you casted before. So usually what I do is I just spam a bunch of lightning traps and then put up 1 death trap. And then what you want to do is once you're done with that, you want to throw up a shock web and then start throwing your Fire Blast. So then you're just going to be doing a ridiculous amount of damage right there. And they're going to be dead by the time I even start. So, I mean, they're already dead by the time I even start casting Fire Blast. So, I mean, it's like instant kill right there. And easy does it. I mean, trap assassins are just awesome, man. I don't know if you guys know Gorebag. Back in the day, he was one of like the Diablo 2 veteran YouTubers. He's actually a little bit older than a lot of us, but he actually played a trap assassin, I think, way back in the day. He had like a level 99. So big shout out to Gorebag. Kind of just gave me a reminder there of one of the Diablo 2 veterans. So, alright, so moving on to the next class, the massively famous Hammerden. So the Hammerden is probably number 1 or number 2 on the most played class in Diablo 2. It's definitely the number 1 botted class in Diablo 2, just because it does so much damage. They have so much defense and so much survivability. It's just absolutely overpowered. In the beginning of Concentration and Blessed Hammers back in patch 1.04, I think, Blessed Hammer working with Concentration was actually a bug in the game. It wasn't supposed to work that way. In classic Diablo 2, concentration boosting hammers was a bug in the game. Blizzard fixed this, but the hammers became too weak to be a useful skill. Later on in patch 1.05, Blizzard gave the damage boost from concentration back to the hammers. This was a little bit strange because Holy Bolt gives magic damage just like hammers do, but it does not get the bonus from the aura. Blessed Hammers also used to ignore the immunity monsters gave to magic damage. In the current version of Diablo 2, hammers do not work against magic immune monsters, but Holy Bolts do, which is why you see Hammerdens casting Holy Bolts on Wave 2 of Bale runs. So going on with the build here, you want to put 20 points in the Blessed Hammer, 20 points in the Holy Shield if you have extra points left over, 20 points in the Concentration, 20 Blessed Aim, and 20 Vigor. And I put the rest of my points into Defiance and just 1 into Salvation. I mean, you could do that if you want. Sometimes if you're running to the console members in Trav or something like that, they have a Conviction aura, so that'll really help with your resistances there. It's just something I put up there just to get some extra resistance just in case. Alright, so as far as the gear goes, I'm using Heart of the Oak, Enigma, Shaco, Mares, War Traveler boots, 2 Stones of Jordan, Arachnid Mesh, and Mage Fist gloves. This is basically the same exact thing as the Elemental Druid that I just showed you guys, except for the shield I'm using the Herald of Zakarum. And Herald of Zakarum has always been my favorite Paladin shield. I mean, just all around it gives you 2 the combat skills, 2 the Paladin skills, and it's just all around a really nice shield. I mean, 50 to all resistances, 20 strength, 20 vitality. It's just like every single stat on this shield is just absolutely amazing, and in my opinion, it's the best Paladin shield in the game next to something like Exile. So then with my inventory, I'm using all combat skill, Grand Charms, and Annie and the Torch, CTA and Spirit on Switch, and with the Mercenary, I'm using an Insight, Treachery, and a G-Face. You should probably actually switch out that G-Face for something that gives like Life Leech, such as Endariel's or Crown of Thieves. But G-Face is a fine item for right now. I mean, if that's what you have, I would just go ahead and throw it on there. But you want to make sure you have some Life Leech on your Mercenary. This guy actually has none. But at this level, I mean, this is a very high level Paladin. And I mean, I'm sure I'm just going to be taking out monsters so fast. I mean, you're not even going to be worried about your Mercenary. Alright, so as far as the attributes go, I put enough points in the strength to use my gear, and enough dexterity to get 75% chance to block, which is the max block rate. But you want to make sure that you put enough points into that when your Holy Shield is casted. Don't go trying to put points in your dexterity, trying to get max block if your Holy Shield is not casted. So you really want to make sure that you do that, and then put the rest of my points into vitality right there. So we'll get this started right here. I'm going to make sure that the players are set to 8, like always on each character that we do. And I'll show you guys the damage going on here. I would definitely say that the Hammerdin is the best all-around class in the game as far as defense, damage, and all that good stuff. Survivability. I mean, you're a spellcaster and you have 19,000 defense. That really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's just the way it is right now. So as you guys can see right there, very simple, very easy. All around, in my opinion, the best build in Diablo 2 as far as PVM goes. 19,000 defense, you know, 4,000 life, 16 to 16k damage, max block. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. Alright, so moving on to the next class right here is the Javelin Amazon. Definitely one of the most popular classes in Diablo 2 as far as kill speed goes. I mean, you don't even need all this fancy gear here. I mean, you could just have a normal Titan's Revenge and basically just be naked with everything else, and you'll still be plowing through cow level and things like that very easily with the Javelin Amazon. I really think a lot of people don't take advantage of this class and this build enough, and I really think it needs to be seen more in the Diablo 2 community. But going over the gear real quick, so we're obviously using Titan's Revenge. One of the biggest things that's important about Titan's Revenge and why a lot of people don't use Thunderstroke, I don't know if you guys know, but Thunderstroke is actually a higher level unique Javelin in Diablo 2, and the reason why a lot of people don't use Thunderstroke is because it doesn't have replenished quantity on it. So you're really going to be running out of your Javelins really quick, and it really gets old really fast when you're running out of your Javelins all the time and having to repair it. So this is really nice because the stack size is a lot higher than Thunderstroke, and not only that, like I said, it has the replenishes quantity mod on it, so that's really going to help out a lot. But anyway, I mean, it's still all around an awesome weapon to use. I mean, to the Javelin skills, to the Amazon skills, faster run walk speed, 200 enhanced damage. That's the maximum amount of enhanced damage on it. It varies from 150 to 200. But I mean, even if you have a 150 Titan's Revenge, I mean, it's really not going to make a difference. It's still going to make an awesome weapon for your character. And just because it's 150 enhanced damage on it doesn't mean that it's not worth anything. And a lot of people will tell you that, and a lot of people will lower the value of items like this in Diablo 2 just because it's the lowest possible stat, but that doesn't mean that the item isn't extremely useful to your character. So a lot of people in Diablo 2 just kind of really lower the value of things just because of that, but at the same time, I mean, that's kind of an advantage for you because you're getting the item cheaper. So then as far as the rest of the build goes, I'm using Enigma. This is really nice just because you want to teleport around a little bit. I mean, if you're trying to do magic find rounds and do things like that, I would suggest you at least having Enigma on Switcher in your inventory. But I would go ahead and use Chains of Honor. I actually have a Fortitude on here, and that's something you could use as well. But I would really suggest that you guys use a Chains of Honor. So then I'm using a Cat's Eye Amulet. This is really nice for the faster run walk speed on it. I really prefer that instead of any other amulet just because you're not going to be using Enigma. Well, I'm not going to be using Enigma for my personal preferences and the monsters that I want to kill. So I'm not really going to be teleporting around unless I really want to kill like Mephisto or something like that. So faster run walk speed is a really big advantage for a Javelin Amazon. You also get 25 to dexterity and some other nice mods there as well. And then as far as the helmet goes, I'm using Griffin's Eye. This is pretty obvious for the lightning damage on it, 1 to all skills. I put a Cannot Be Frozen Chamrune in there just to get that Cannot Be Frozen. And as far as my rings and belt goes, I'm using 2 Mantled Heals. This is really important for me personally just because I want to get a lot of Mono Leech out of my character, and I really don't want to be chugging monopots all the time. You can go ahead and put like a Ravenfrost on there if you want to switch that out for a Lightning Jewel. I mean, the possibilities are endless in Diablo 2, and it's really up to you what you want to do. Learn the items a little bit more and learn about what you want from your character. You can really go ahead and just customize things that you want to do based on your preference. So then I'm using Razor Tail. This is a really big item right here because you want to get that piercing attack, and that's going to be a big chunk of your damage right there. I'm using Alder Boots, 40% faster run walk speed on there. Really nice for my personal preference for faster run walk speed. 50 to life, 50 to fire resistances. It's just all around a really nice pair of boots, and I think a lot of people just don't put them to good use just because they just don't realize that they're good boots. So this is really nice. It has a really high chance to block, and actually goes up even higher if you upgrade the item using a Lemko and a Perfect Diamond. So that's actually going to increase the block rate on it. So a lot of times it's really important to upgrade your shield, and I put 2 lightning facets in there. I would really have to dump a lot of points into my character just to get to use a Spirit Monarch. So in my opinion, it's definitely a lot better to just get a Saigon Shield, and it's really not going to be worth it to get that 1 more skill just because you're going to have to dump so many points into strength just to use a Spirit Shield. And then I'm using the Crafted Blood Touch Gloves. Now these are actually a really rare find right here. This is something that you're really not going to come across very often in Diablo 2. This is very end game stuff right here, and a very expensive pair of gloves. So I wouldn't expect going around and finding a pair of gloves like this. Alright, so going on with the build here, I got enough points into strength and my attributes to use my gear. Same thing with dexterity, just enough to use the gear. Energy none, and the rest vitality. Now if you wanted to, you could go ahead and use something like a storm shield, or you could even use a shield like this and you can go for max block. That's something that I would recommend doing, but at the same time, I mean, it's not going to make or break your character, so it's whatever you want to do based on your preference. And as far as the skills go, 20 points in Lightning Fury, 20 points Lightning Strike, 20 points Charge Strike, 20 points in Lightning Bolt, and then the rest of your points into Power Strike. You want to make sure that you max that out as well once you get to the maximum level in Diablo 2. But you might not have that many points left over, so I would definitely just make sure you put points in the Power Strike last. And as far as passive skills, you want to make sure you put 1 point into all of these right here on the right. You could also go for Valkyrie if that's your thing, or if you just want to, you know, have your Valkyrie up. That's something that a lot of people personally prefer, but for me it's really not a big deal, and I kind of just concentrate on my character. And if you want to put a point into Valkyrie, you could do that as well. And as far as the bow skills, I put none in there. I'm using Infinity, Treachery, and then Dariel's helmet. So Infinity is just all around, I mean, just very standard end game gear for your mercenary, for any spellcaster, except for, you know, certain circumstances, like if you're using a cold sorceress or things like that, because Infinity isn't going to break the immunities from it, so it's really just going to be a little bit worthless on that side of the end game part of killing monsters. You're just not going to be able to break immunities, but it will help out killing the monsters. I mean, if the monster isn't cold immune, so I mean, it's totally up to you and what you want to do. All right, so going on with this build right here, so Charge Strike is really going to be doing a ridiculous amount of damage to bosses right here. I'm actually going to leave the game and make sure we set it on 8 players. So you could actually take out Bale in about 2 seconds using Charge Strike. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's so overpowered. I mean, I don't even know how to say how overpowered this is. Same thing with Lightning Fury. So I go ahead and I just use Lightning Fury. Let's see, Lightning Fury and Lightning Bolt. So Lightning Bolt is going to do more damage, but Lightning Fury is going to do more of a spread damage. So this is basically like the Amazon's version of Lightning and Chain Lightning, right? So Lightning only does basically like about single target damage, and when you use Chain Lightning, it's kind of spreading out that damage. And it's the same thing here with the Lightning Bolt and Lightning Fury. So by the time I get up here, I mean, they're just going to be dead. Once that Conviction Aura is on them, I mean, it's over. I mean, so easy. I mean, I just made like 2 or 3 clicks to the mouse and it's done. It's over. Sometimes I really don't like Eldritch, just because a lot of times he has Mono Leech or Mana Drain, whatever it is. Bugs me so bad. That's why I got those Mantled Heals. Kind of weird orb right there. This isn't even the maximum damage right here. I mean, like I said, guys, you could put 4 lightning jewels in there. You could put 4 lightning jewels in your shield. I mean, there's just so many more things that you could do. I don't even have my skill grand charms on this guy, and it's just look at that. Just one hit just plows through everything. It's just absolutely insane. Totally forgot what button I had Charge Strike on. I haven't played these characters in a long time, guys, so sorry if I'm a little bit rusty here. See, bam, there you go, he's done. Very easy, very simple, extremely overpowered. Alright, so moving on to the #1 class in Diablo 2 that has the fastest killing speed in the game, and that's the Lightning Sorceress. Now, all around, this does a massive amount of damage, but at the same time, its survivability isn't as good as, say, a Hammerden in Diablo 2, like I just showed you guys, because he has max block, 19,000 defense. He's just all around a very good damage dealing character, but not only that, has very good survivability. The survivability is not as good on this character, but it's just the damage is just absolutely ridiculous, and you're going to be teleporting around really fast. You're going to be able to do magic find runs and just do everything you want to do in the game in a fast and effective way, where say if you're using something like a Javelin Amazon, you're really not going to be able to just teleport wherever you want to go, just because their faster cast rate breakpoints and their faster cast rate compared to other classes is a lot slower compared to, say, a Sorceress or a Paladin or even a Barbarian. Their casting speed is so slow, so you're really going to be teleporting around the world really slow, and with a Lightning Sorceress, you're going to be pumping out a lot of damage, but you're going to be able to do whatever you want to do in the game. Alright, so going on with the gear right here, I'm using Xtimus Temper. I don't even know if that's the right way to pronounce that, so I usually just call it the Eldritch Orb, or whatever you want to call it, Xtimus. So this gives 3 the Sorcerer skills and 25% the Lightning skill damage with a Lightning Faucet in it. So, and that's actually a perfect one right there, so you're really going to be dumping out a lot of damage right there. There's a lot of orbs that you could come across that are really rare. They're actually rare orbs, but they're really hard to come by, and a lot of people really don't find them. The only people that kind of find them are bots and things like that. I really think that you might be able to get an orb that's better than this one, just because you can get a lot of skills. Say you could get like a blue magic orb and it could have two sockets in it and a bunch of different lightning skills. I mean, there's a lot of crazy items in this game, but that is very end game stuff, and those are usually things that are normally found by bots. Those usually aren't something that the normal casual player like you or myself come across in Diablo 2. Something like this is much more standard because people see it and they keep it. A lot of people don't always go and identify a rare orb that's just sitting on the ground, just because the chances of it being good are, you know, 1 in 10, 20,000, you know. So this is really something that you're going to come across more often in Diablo 2. Alright, so then as far as the rest of my gear goes, I'm using an Ormus robe. This has 3 to lightning on it. Perfect percent right there. It gives 20% to lightning skill damage. Then I'm using a 4-socket Monarch right here. This is a J mod right here, so this is something that's really expensive. I would just go ahead and get a 4-socket white Monarch instead. Put 4 lightning jewels in there, and that's really pumping out a ridiculous amount of lightning damage right there. Then I'm using Griffin's Eye, Mara's, Mage Fist, 2 Stones of Jordan, Arachnid Mesh, and some Silkweed Boots, along with all lightning skill Grand Charms with an Annie and a Torch. Now on Switch, I'm using a Call to Arms and a Spirit Monarch. Very standard stuff. And as far as Mercenary goes, same thing. I mean, Infinity, Treachery, and I got a Vampire Gaze going right there. So then as far as skill points go, I put 1 point into Warmth, 1 point into Teleport, 20 points into Charge Bolt, Lightning, Chain Lightning, and Thunderstorm, and then Lightning Mastery as well. And make sure you put 1 point into Static Field, and you're going to have to do that anyway just to get the Thunderstorm. And then I got 5 points left over, so you could probably just go ahead and put some points into Warmth if you want some more mana recovery there, or get some frozen armor. Whatever it is you want to do, it's really not a big deal to me, but if you want to go ahead and put those points into something else, you can go ahead and do that yourself if that's your personal preference. So then as far as my attributes go, enough points into Strength to use my gear, Dexterity, enough points to use my gear. I don't think there was any Dexterity I need to put in. And the rest of my points, Vitality and Energy, none. This is not an Energy Shield build. This is actually a build to do the maximum amount of damage I could possibly do. So we're going to go ahead and set the players to 8 real quick, and I'm going to show you guys how well this character works. And then there you go. It doesn't get any better than that, guys. I mean, that kill speed is just absolutely ridiculous on any character. I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to beat out that. And then you're going to be able to teleport around and do whatever you want to do in the game. You can do Bail runs, you can do Mephisto. You know, you can go around the world and just kill whatever you want. It's a lot different than playing other classes like a Javelin Amazon, as I said before, where you can't go around and just teleport to wherever you want to go. So then on this guy, I'm doing 36k, up to 36k lightning damage, and up to 12k chain lightning. As far as my Thunderstorm goes, I mean, that's doing 4k damage per strike, so that's actually pretty nice. And that's actually a skill that was really popular back in the day during the more classic days of Diablo 2 and early Lord of Destruction. Thunderstorm was actually one of the most powerful skills in the game, and it would actually just one-shot people all the time in PvP. So that's about it for this video, guys. Make sure you subscribe if you want to keep up with Diablo 2 content. Make sure you like this video and leave a comment in the comment section below, and let me know which class in this video is your favorite. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on my next Diablo 2 video.